all the participants of Preksha Meditation Retreat. I would now you can see on the screen the topic which we are going to talk about, Preksha Meditation, why to do. I would like to ask one question to all of you, and my question is, what is the, like, human beings have many qualities. Do you feel that you have qualities? Or only flaws are there? Qualities are there, right? We have many qualities. If I ask you the question, what is the biggest quality we all have? That quality for which we can say that nobody else has that kind of quality, which human beings have. Thinking. Consciousness all living beings are having, right? Consciousness all living beings have. That is the other thing. Human being can express whatever they feel. Other beings cannot express how human beings can express. Intellect, compassion,
self-analysis.
Self-analysis. So many answers are there. And from the point of view of Anikant, non-absolutism, which is a unique principle of Jainism, I can say that all answers are right. But here I want to focus on the quality, and it is actually told by Acharya Sri Mahaprabhuji. When I was reading his book, I found that he said that the biggest quality human beings have is the ability to attain samadhi. We all have a quality, or we all have that ability to attain samadhi. What is samadhi? The state of eternal bliss. To be free from adhi, vyadhi and upadhi. So to overcome all physical, mental and emotional diseases. To get that state after which there is no sorrow, no misery, no pain. So we all have such kind of quality in our life. But the thing is that, do we try to use that quality or that ability what we have? Do we try? Sometimes we say that, yeah, we try. We all are in search of peace. And we are here also to know that how can we attain the peace? How can we have bliss in our life? But what happened after this camp? In Hindi we say that wahi goda, wahi maidan. Right? Same thing happens. When we are here, we feel everything. We say, we told you to observe silence. Why? There was purpose behind it. Because when you are not talking to others, you have chance, you have opportunity to talk with yourself. And when you start to talk with yourself, then you can understand what you are, what qualities you have, and what abilities you have, and how can you increase those abilities, or how can you, that hidden power, or how can you express your hidden power, realize that hidden power, and then express that hidden power. So realization of self. The topic is Preksha Meditation, why to do? Answer is there itself at the bottom of your slide. Search the truth yourself. We do Preksha Meditation to search the truth by ourselves. And this is what Lord Mahavir said, that whatever I have said, this is truth. But it doesn't mean that you cannot search it. You search yourself and then you can say that it is our own truth. But until you realize it, you have to start with the belief. जब तक आप जानते नहीं, तब तक आपको मानना पड़ेगा. Unless you realize it, you have to have some faith in somebody else who realized it. So we don't have power now. Now we cannot say that we have realized the truth. But we have that strength with power, with that ability to realize the truth. But until or unless we realize it, we follow the path given by those, or showed by those people, those pure souls who have already attained it. Now truth, if I come to the truth, I'll take to the philosophical explanation about truth. What do you understand by truth? Here we say that search the truth yourself. What is truth here? What to search? What will you say then? According to you, what is truth? I want your answer in that. Whenever you ask the question, you can give the answer.
The difference.
Even, huh?
The difference between like illusion and reality. क्या है? What is it? Like we always contemplating. ये है कि ऐसा है कि ऐसा है. मगर है क्या?
What is it, right? But what is it? What it is? What that it?
Purpose of life.
Huh?
Purpose
of life. We have to go more higher.
Something you don't have to.
Soul. Purpose of sleep. This is what experience the soul, to realize the soul. You will see that from spiritual point it sounds good, right? The practical point we say that soul, then sometimes we feel that why are you talking about soul and all these things? We cannot realize it. Sometimes people say to us, after meditation, we say that the purpose of meditation is to realize the soul. Sometimes we don't realize any soul. Just you say that and we just try to imagine all these things. They say in this way. It happens, right? You don't realize the soul. But do you believe in soul? If I ask you,
Yes.
you believe in soul, right? Because many people are there who don't believe in soul also. In Indian philosophies, there are different philosophies are there, and one philosophy is called Charvak philosophy. It says that eat, drink, and be merry. Who knows that? Who knows that the next life is there? Who can say that your our previous life was like that? So it's just a present. You enjoy your present. That is a Charvak philosophy, and I would say that it will not be wrong to say that many people who even they are saying themselves as a Jain, they are having the doubt in the existence of soul. But I told you that we have to have faith in the existence of soul. We start our journey with faith, then we will reach to the point of realization of soul. So Prekshana meditation, when we talk about Prekshana meditation, ultimate goal is search the truth yourself. And the second biggest quality we have is that is freedom. We all have freedom to choose our path. You came here because you had the freedom to choose, like you have chosen to come in this retreat. Maybe there will be motivation or by Samniji. Many times you might have got call from Samniji, you have to come, you have to come, you have to come. So that kind of motivation may be there, but finally you chose that. Yes, I want to go, I should go. Because of any motivation, any inspiration, whatever you thought, but finally you chose it. Nobody can impose, yeah, you have to come, like you can motivate in that way, but not imposition cannot work there. So we have freedom to choose the path. Ability is there, and we have freedom to choose the path. To realize that hidden power, to realize that soul which is covered by many things, that state of peace and eternal bliss we have within us, and this is the time where we can focus on that. So in retreat, when we come with that goal, we should get something, at least for a moment. If you're realizing that eternal state of eternal bliss, that is your achievement. It may happen, it will not stay with you for longer, but for a moment or even you feel the fraction of moment it happens that you feel you enjoy the inner state in meditation or in Kayotsav, in any practice, it means it is your achievement. And many people might have experienced that. Whoever is practicing since many years, they might have such kind of experience. Now, the question is that why meditate? In our life is based on, there is the coexistence of many opposite things in our life. We say that there's a pleasure and pain in our life. There's a pair of pleasure and pain, both things are there. There's a respect and disrespect. There are some situations where we get respect from the people. There are some states where we get the disrespect from the people. There is a condition where there's profit and there's a loss too. So we cannot say that we always move on the one track of life. There are two things that happens, one after the other, or sometimes simultaneously too. We have two things together. This is a coexistence. Here when we talk about meditation, what is it? Here meditation says that through meditation, what we are going to get is that we can prepare ourselves to stay balanced in all the situations. In the situation of, like in the case of profit, in the case of what we say that pleasure, what will happen? We may come out of our nature. Our nature is to remain in equanimity. But if something is in our favor, everybody is appreciating us, it may create a kind of ego within us. So that is not our nature. Anger is not our nature. Pride is not our nature. Like ego is not our nature. When we are in ego, we are in anger, it means we are out of our own nature. We are not in Swabhav, we are in Vibhav. So what Prekshana meditation is doing, through the practice of Prekshana meditation, we can stay in Swabhav. That Swabhav is a forgiveness. That Swabhav is a humbleness. That Swabhav is a contentment. That is our Swabhav. When we go out of this, then we are in Vibhav. So in our life, if we see that the whole day, what we are doing, different kind of activities, physical, mental, emotional. So many types of actions are there. And to that action, what is there? We can respond in two ways. That one can be the only response and one can be the reaction. So most of the time what we do? reaction, sometimes mentally, sometimes physically. In a day, we get 40 to 60,000 thoughts, and most of them are negative. Most of them are negative. If you start to analyze your thoughts, you will get that in 40 to 60,000 thoughts, most of them are negative thoughts. But we don't realize it because we don't analyze it. And this is the time to analyze yourself. Why do we do meditation? To analyze the self. So to go from the state of action to inaction, that is important. Pravritti to nivritti. If there is a balance between action and inaction, there will be definitely balance between your sukh and dukh. You will stay balanced in sukh and dukh. You will stay balanced in profit and loss. You will stay balanced in state of respect and disrespect. If there is a balance between pravritti and nivritti in your life. So you will say that yes, Amniji, we stay in state of nivritti. When? During the night. That is the state of nivritti. You don't do any action. There is no activity there. Do we have activity there?
Dreams.
What?
Dreams.
Dreams are there.
Thoughts are there.
Thoughts. Some may have the sound sleep also. You don't get the sound sleep anytime. Huh? Can you say that? Yeah, we have the sound sleep always. Acharya Shri, you? Good. So Om Arham for Sampatji. Because he is saying that because Acharya Shri Mahaprabhu used to say that many times we experienced that when we were in his seva, he just used to teach us, and then he said that now I will do Kayotsav for 2 minutes. And he used to lie down, and only for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, when he just come in the sitting pose, and he used to say that I have done my Kayotsav. So I was in Kayotsav for 2 minutes. He used to do that. Then he used to ask us, can you do such kind of Kayotsav? Then we had to say that no, we cannot do that, because within 2 minutes, how can you just relax yourself and then come in the normal state? Then Acharya Shri used to say that you have to develop such kind of concentration or consciousness so that you can do Kayotsav only for 2 minutes also, and you feel yourself relaxed after 2 minutes. So that kind of state we need to have, and it can happen through the regular practice of meditation. It can happen. We just lie down and we can relax our body, and then we can come in the normal state also. So some people may be there who are having the sound sleep. No thoughts are there. But in that case, I would say that inaction is there, but still idleness. Here when we are talking about inaction, in meditation is also what? It is a kind of inaction. We are training our mind not to do any kind of activity. We are in spiritual language, in the language of Tattva Gyan, I will say that is the sambar. Ashrav is, what is ashrav? Inflow of karma every time. And what is sambar? You stop, you close the door, so no karmas will enter now. So in the case, when you are practicing meditation, not only any meditation when you are doing, you are stopping your thoughts, not by force. You are training your mind not to have the thoughts. Thoughts are coming, but you are not involving yourself. You are not getting influenced by your thoughts. So the thoughts will also go. If you are getting influenced by your thoughts will be increased. But you are not making yourself involved in your thoughts, and thoughts will go away. So in Preksha meditation also, what we do, we get rid of the state of action and reaction, and we are getting the state of inaction with awareness, with consciousness. No, not in sleep. We don't do that in sleep. In Kayotsav, there is inaction. We are giving suggestions and making our body relaxed. There is also actually inaction, but awareness is there. That awareness is there. So there is a difference between sleep and Kayotsav. Many people go into, have you practiced Kayotsav now? How many of you have gone in sleep? No? Koi ne ungna avi.
I do.
Yeah, money.
Kayotsav you did, but sometimes what happens, people just go into sleep while doing Kayotsav.
Yes, that is what happens.
That is what happens.
Yes.
It should not happen actually. You are so relaxed and you go into sleep, it's fine, you become relaxed. But Kayotsav means whatever suggestions are given by the guide, whoever is guiding the Kayotsav, you need to follow all the suggestions. You travel throughout the body. You relax each and every muscle of the body, nerve of the body, tissue of the body. You are aware of each and everything what is happening in the body. So that's a relaxation. You are relaxing all the systems of your body. But if you are going into sleep, it means you are not aware about that. So here there's a difference between sleep and this inaction. Inaction is in both the state. I'm just focusing on this inaction because in the meditation state there is inaction but with awareness. Why meditate? Comprehensive health. We talk about the health, comprehensive health. What is comprehensive health? Again, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual health. All 4 kinds of health we are getting from through practicing meditation. So, change in nature and habits, which is very difficult. Sometimes even we don't feel that we need to change or not. What is permanent in this world? If I ask this question to you,
Nothing.
nothing is permanent.
Change.
Who said that? Change is permanent. Every moment is changing. Even you are in this now, in this many thoughts are coming. Your consciousness is changing. You are here, but your consciousness is changing because you are in the different mode. At the present mode, if you are, your consciousness is in the mode of gaining knowledge, having cognition, so that you are in the state, in the one state. But afterwards, if you go to the other thing, you are thinking about something else. You think that, yeah, I have to go after this class. I have to go. I have to call somebody else, or how will I manage to be silent throughout the day? If these thoughts are coming inside you, it means you are in different consciousness. So change is every moment because thoughts are coming. Consciousness is also changing. We say that consciousness is permanent, but consciousness is also changing. So change in nature and habits. We don't realize that we need to change in our nature and habits, but it is permanent. Always there is a scope for change. And through meditation, what we do, we realize that what we are and what kind of change we need to have. So in that way, it is necessary to bring change in nature and habits, and through meditation we can have it. Time management. How can we manage the time? Because through meditation, you go to the next point, working efficiency. You can increase your working efficiency. It increases with concentration. I don't know how many of you practice Priksha meditation regularly. Regularly, if you are practicing. So the people who are practicing Priksha meditation regularly, they can feel change in their life. Change in concentration level. Do you feel that? Ashok bhai, Dinesh bhai, do you feel the change in concentration level? Because it's not that thing I am saying and you are listening, right? You will not have such kind of faith until you do it. You practice it. It is necessary to practice it. When you even you do only for 5 minutes every day, you will feel change in yourself. You will feel change in concentration level. So I would say that sometimes people say that, Samiji, whatever you say that, tame ketli ban var ho, but we don't have interest in meditation. We came here for retreat also, but if we close our eyes, the whole picture, the whole life, other people when we have seen years and years ago, they started to come in us. It's a kind of movie. It happens. Then people say that, many times this kind of complaint is there, ki we don't have such interest in meditation. Even this is my case also. When I was at home, I did not have such interest in meditation. I could do swadhyaya and everything, but closing eyes and sit in one posture, it was very difficult for me. It's the blessings of Acharya Sri Mahapragyaji. He taught us how to meditate, how to do meditation. Now it's like that, even without doing meditation, whenever we get time, that you see that whenever we have to stand in the queue of visa, we do our meditation at that time. What we can do? In tubes, what we do? Long breathing, because we say that we got time to do all these things. So we feel that how much wealth we have and how can we use that. So this is very difficult actually to cultivate interest in meditation, and people complain in this way. So Acharya Sri Mahaprabhu used to ask it, there are 2 places, hospital and theatre. If choice is there, which place you would like to visit or you would like to go? Bolo, bada boli shako cho. Theatre, right? Why? Because our attraction is there. And if there's a speech of a doctor somewhere, and where there's a one place where an actor is coming, Bollywood hero ko yaadi rayo chhe, and where will you go? It's a simple thing, because attraction is there. Why? And the person who is not healthy now, who is suffering from a disease like cancer, if the cancer specialist is there, a speech of cancer specialist is there, or hospital visit is there, where the person will go? Hospital. The priority will change, right? So here, why we choose go to theatre? Because we don't know we are ill, we are sick, we are not healthy. We have diseases, many kinds of diseases are there, but we are still unaware about all these diseases. When the day will come when we know about our diseases, yeah, we are really ill, we have many emotional problems, we have many mental problems, stress is there, the problem of ego is there, the problem of greed is there. If we know, we come to know that we have these many diseases, then we will go to the place where somebody is teaching Priksha meditation. Others will not go. I think you might have realized this thing that you all are ill. You don't say that, Samriji, what you are saying that you are making us negative. This is good to realize. You understand your health. We are not talking about only physical health, mental health, spiritual health, because we are talking about comprehensive health. So the person who realizes that I am not healthy, only they can choose to go to hospital. So it's a kind of hospital if you are coming here to having a treatment. So treatment to what? Treatment to your soul, to your consciousness, to make it free from, especially to make it free from karmic baggage, to make it free from karmas, to make it pure. So when we do Preksha meditation, we become healthy, we increase our concentration at mental level. That is the wealth for mental health, I would say, that concentration. And if working efficiency is there, time will be managed. Everybody has the same time 24/7. Koi nahi paase vatare time chhe. You have the same time, we have the same time, and Acharya also have who are doing the very many type of tasks they are performing. They are also having the 24/7. Only Koina Mate, they don't have the more than 24 hours. Everybody has the same time, right? But how can we manage with the increasing working efficiency? And how can we increase working efficiency? Through Preksha meditation, through meditation, stress management. This is the problem here. Even sometimes I think we should not speak about the stress. Because when we speak, people start to feel that, yeah, we have stress. Be free from stress. We create stress. Our thinking creates stress. But here we are here to learn that how can we change our thinking. So if thinking are changed, attitude is changed, no stress is there. Emotion management. Emotion will be there. Stress will also be there. What we need to do, that Preksha meditation teaches us, manage your emotions. Manage your stress. Without stress, even you could not come here. You took stress, so you came here. Without stress, you could not come here. So, ati sarvatra varjayet. Nothing should be in excess. If at some level it is there, then it is beneficial. Even stress is also beneficial. Without stress, you cannot do anything. You cannot perform any task. So that's it. And wisdom, power, and ultimately self-realization. That's the ultimate what we get is the self-realization. But I would say that always we need to have a higher goal. If the goal is higher, then these all things we will get as a byproduct. We don't need to do efforts for that. Our goal is self-realization, so we can get all these things.
Yes, could I go back on to the wisdom power? You know, people who are not religious, who do not believe in God, sometimes they are very wise, wiser than the normal people. Why?
They are very.
They are very wise. People who do not believe in God, who do not meditate.
It is not necessary to believe in God or believe in somebody else. Believe in yourself.
No. Even they do not meditate or anything, and still they are very wise. So how do you relate those people?
What do you understand by wise? And here we're talking about wisdom power.
Yeah. I mean, wisdom power means, you know, the things they write, the lectures they give, like you're giving now, and you know. Maybe we got 100 people here, they got 10,000 people there. You know, the people go to them.
Yeah.
So how do you differentiate the two scenarios?
See, that case also may be happen if you take wisdom in that way. Many people have such kind because they have the punya which they have earned in previous life. So they are now getting the fruit of that thing. So sometimes in this life they are not doing anything, they are getting everything. Many people are like that. They are getting everything. Even they are not, and some people are there who are putting much efforts but they are not getting this thing. Right? And some people are there, if you say, like we say that, if you say any family member, sometimes it happens that this person, if Dinesh Bhai says something in our family, everybody will accept it. Why? Because it is because of your Shubh Naam Karma. So karma is playing role here. Karma is playing, right? We believe in all these things. Niyati is there, karma is there. So your destiny is there, your karma is there. And in my case, if I am doing everything, all efforts are there, my intention is good, but nobody is accepting me. Why? Because my Ashubh karma is there. Ashubh Naam karma is there. So I am paying for that. So this is the situation. And other thing, when we talk about such kind of wisdom power, we are not saying that somebody stand and give a good lecture and all these things. They don't have such kind of power. Wisdom power is purity, inner purity, intuit. Whatever is going to happen, they can predict. Whatever they say, it becomes truth. Sometimes we say that whatever Acharya told, it happened. How did it happen? Because of inner purity. They just said it. It will. Sometimes it happens that we say that tomorrow, Acharya, we are leaving for London. Suppose we say to Acharya, Acharya says that if you can go the day after tomorrow, if you can make it the day after tomorrow. He didn't say anything else. If you can make it the day after tomorrow. So we will think in that way. Acharya told that it means we have to do in that way. Because His wisdom is there, His intuition is there, and we will follow it. His purity is there, because many times it happens, whatever He says, it happens. So if He said that, can you make it for tomorrow? No, the day after tomorrow, it means something is not right tomorrow, for tomorrow. So we should just postpone it. So that kind of wisdom, intuition, power, purity we are talking about. And that wisdom, if you are taking in that intellectual level, that can also happen because of his Naam Karma. Even he is not doing anything in this life, but previous life is there. Not previous lives are there, not only one life. Lives are there. We are getting the fruit of many lives. So everything is happened on the basis of that. So all things work together. Not only one thing, not only karma is working. We say that Jainism believe in karma, but not only karma is working. With karma, everything is working. So our destiny is there, our efforts are there. Through efforts, we can change our karmas. And many times we feel that. Some people don't have to do any efforts and they just get the result of any task. And some people, they have to put the efforts. After efforts, they are getting. After efforts, for me, I many times say that. Without efforts, I don't get anything. I have to do efforts, then I will get success. So at least that is there. So if we don't know that what we are going to get, we always try to, what is our hand, what is in our hand only to do efforts. That we can do. Destiny is not in our hand. Whatever karmas are there, through our efforts we can change. So in our hand only the efforts are there. So always be ready to do the efforts so we can have all these things in our life.
Amriti,
Yes.
one question. Going back to stress management,
Yes.
one can say that there is no such thing as stress management.
Mm.
People spend lots of money to go on stress management courses.
Mm-hmm.
But my question is, why do you want to manage stress? You want to get rid of stress. Why do you want to go and spend lots of money to manage stress?
Mm. See, I just told that it is not possible to get rid of stress, because we are taking, if we are taking stress as a negative, then we want to get rid of that negative stress. That is get rid of stress. But when we say that manage the stress, we are taking both type of stress. Positive stress is also there. So stress is not always negative. I told you, for the doing, like performing task also, we need to have some kind of stress. Without stress, if you have to manage the family, you have to have stress. Without stress, you cannot manage. Stress is what? If you are doing planning, then also stress is there. Stress is, it's a kind of positive stress, but the negative stress which will lead you to the state of depression, that we need to be get rid of. And why they are going to the classes, even I would say that there's no need to go anywhere else. If your thinking is right, if your attitude is right, you can do everything at home. But people are going because they cannot go on their own. So there can be some motivation. Motivational force may help them. But sometimes it happens just we go to listen, who spoke good, whose personality was, like which kind of personality the person has, and how did he speak. Many times we listen the same lecture also. It happens, right? Same lectures we, even today also we are, whatever we are speaking, you are listening since many years. Samijis have been saying the same thing for many years. But we all need these things again and again. Time and again when we listen, then some point, something can stuck at some point and we can have change in our life. Otherwise, there is no need to go anywhere. If you have such kind of power within you, you have power, but if you realize your power, that there is no need to go anywhere else. So to understand that, yeah, we have this power and we can do it, you go to the places. And after that, you have to work on your own. You cannot do anything. Like whatever I am saying, you just can understand it, then you have to work on your own. You have to put your own efforts. That you have to do, right? So manage the stress. Why we use even emotions. We cannot get rid of emotions. Can you? You cannot do that. You are in family. You are in society. You need to have love for your grandchildren. You need to have love and respect for your, love for. It's a kind of attachment. People say that, we say that even today, nowadays we start to say that manage your attachment. You cannot get rid of your attachment. You have to manage it. Manage in such a way, if that thing or that person, if you lose that person, then manage your attachment, you can stay without that person also. If you are with that person, you need to be attached because you are in family, you are in society. But that attachment should be, the right attachment. So that is called management of attachment. So everything is need to be managed. You cannot get rid of. તમે કહેશો કે સમજી અમને બધાને બનાવી દેશો સાધુ તમે તો. If I say that get rid of attachment, then સાધુ થોડી બની જશો બધા. So you have to manage the things. So that the householders, a layperson can do that. Now, how can we have all these things? I was just looking, I think you might have seen somewhere.
Now let us know about cosmic energy. The cosmic energy exists everywhere in the cosmos. It is the bond between the galaxies, the planets, humans, and molecules. It is the space between each and everything. It is the bond which keeps the whole cosmos in order. Cosmic energy is the life force. This cosmic energy is essential to maintain the order of our life and to expand our consciousness. Cosmic energy is the base for all our actions and functions. We receive some amount of cosmic energy in deep sleep and in total silence. We are using this energy for our day-to-day activities of our mind, like seeing, speaking, hearing, thinking, and all actions of our body. This limited energy gained through sleep is not sufficient for these activities. That is why we feel exhausted, tired, and tensed. This leads to mental and physical stress and all kinds of illnesses. The only way to overcome this is to get more and more cosmic energy. Cosmic energy is essential to maintain the order of our life, to lead a healthy and happy life, to totally involve in all situations we are in, to obtain knowledge, and finally, for expansion of our consciousness. Abundant cosmic energy is obtained only through meditation.
So just a short clip, what it says that when we talk about we can get through meditation, we can get comprehensive health, we can increase our working efficiency, we can manage our time, stress, emotions, everything. How can it happen? For all these things, what we need is energy. And where there is a lack of energy, there is imbalance in everything. Physical imbalance, mental imbalance, emotional imbalance. And where is that energy? Energy is within us, around us in this cosmos. So this is the concept of cosmic energy. Everywhere there is energy. We get that energy every moment. We are getting that energy. But in sleep also we get more energy. In deep sleep, when we know thoughts are there, we are completely relaxed, we are getting that energy. But that energy is not enough to perform all tasks during the daytime. So we need more energy. So how can we gain more energy? Through meditation. So meditation helps to have more energy. If energy which we are normally getting or just without doing any efforts, whatever we are getting, that is not enough. So to increase our energy, we need to practice meditation. If we practicing meditation, through meditation what we are concentrating on particular part or particular thought, so our concentration is at one point. We are not spending our energy. Otherwise what happens during the whole day, we are spending our energy. Seeing, all five senses are we are using all five senses, right? Every moment. If you are sitting in the car, at the same moment, all your five senses start to ask you something. Simple thing. If the weather is hot, as soon as you sit in the car, there will be a demand of your body. I need AC. And if there is a cold, you need heater inside the car also. When you sit, you say that there is a smell, then you need perfume. So that there is a demand of nose. And after that, you need something for your ears. So you just start music. Just you are sitting only one action you are doing in the car, but your body, your Sparshneendriya, it asks for, like you need AC or heater, your Ghanendriya, it asks for good smell, and in the same way, other senses also start to do, like for example your Rasnendriya. Let's say there's a long way, so we need to have something in our mouth. So that the Rasnendriya will ask you. And then if there are two ways to go to one destination, you will choose that path where there is a science, like sightseeing. You can see something, right? So you will see. So the Chakshundri is also asking. So in one action, you are under the influence of all five senses. And above five senses, there is mind, king of all. So if there is one person, the five senses are there, and the sixth one is mind. So you see that if there is the one charioteer, and there are six, what we said, horses are there. In which direction that person will go? You will never know where it will go. So in this way, we have to need to control over senses, and through Diksha meditation, what we can do, we can have control over senses. And when the control over senses is there in meditation, we gain more energy, and that energy helps to have physical, mental, and emotional health, comprehensive health, and that energy leads gradually to the self-realization. So we need energy. Even to practice meditation, we need energy. Without energy, a weak person cannot do meditation. You have to prepare yourself. You have to be energetic to practice meditation. Even for the perception of deep breathing, you need energy. Through deep breathing, you are gaining energy. But for practicing deep breathing, you need energy. These are the stages of meditation, yeah?
Sometimes they say you have to conserve the energy. Here in the video, it showed to get the energy.
To get the energy, then to save the energy, and to use right use of energy. Everything is there. Because you are gaining try to gain more and more energy. If energy is within, if you have energy within, then you are gaining more energy, then there is a storage of energy inside you. Then you use that energy. Then how to use? So use in right direction. If you are using that energy for meditation, it means you are using for the right thing. No other thoughts are there. So you are not spending your energy. On one thought you are concentrating, you are gaining more energy, and you are using your energy for the meditation. So both things are happening. You are using your energy and you are gaining more energy. So saving is there. You are preserving your energy, and then after you are using your energy. So three things are simultaneously happening. Got the point, Ashok? So these are the stages of meditation: concentration, perception, awareness, and thoughtlessness. What do you say in meditation? What happens? What state is called the meditation? Is it possible to be thoughtless? Chandri Ben? It's impossible. It is difficult, but it is possible. But you cannot say that it is very, very difficult to get the state of thoughtlessness. So I think we cannot meditate. Many people say that we cannot have that state of thoughtlessness, so we cannot meditate. But it is not like that. With thought also, you can practice meditation. In Jainism, there is one meditation which is called Vichaya Dhyan. This is a good term, new term, technical term, Vichaya Dhyan. It means concentrate on one thought. And what is that one thought? This is one thought. Even in scripture it is written that a body is transitory and soul is eternal. That is one thought. Just focus on that one thought.
What is this Vichaya?
Vichaya. That is Vichar.
Vichaya.
Vichaya. V-I-C-H-A-Y. Vichaya Dhyan. That is Vichar Dhyan. It sounds like a contradiction, right? You are talking about Vichar and you are saying Dhyan. But you are concentrating only on one thought. You are not giving many. There are no many thoughts. Only one thought is there. If your focus is only one thought, one color, one object, one mantra, that is meditation. That is meditation. So your meditation start with vichar. With vichar. You just stop your many thoughts and come to the one vichar. And that one vichar take you to the thoughtlessness. But you cannot jump over thoughtlessness. It cannot happen. It is not possible. You just start to get the state of thoughtlessness, and you say that somebody, we cannot do meditation because we don't have state of thoughtlessness. It is not. For years and years you will have thoughts, but you just come to the one thought and concentrate on one thought, one color, one object. That is also your meditation. Yes?
In a practical life, if you deal with one task at a time, you are just concentrating on that particular thing, which is like concentrating on one thought. So you can do it either in meditation or in your daily activity.
So we say that meditation is called, that we say that become yoga. When you are walking, you are only walking, that is walking yoga. When you are eating, only eating, that is eating yoga. It's a kind of meditation. But here what we are talking about, you take the spiritual thought, not any material thought. We are not talking about that thing. Any spiritual thought. So your dhyan should always have a base of your swadhyaya. You cannot separate dhyan and swadhyaya. Both go hand in hand. Without swadhyaya, if you are practicing dhyan, it will take you the wrong direction, because you have you have like what we say that you stimulate your energy in dhyan. Now, where to use that energy you don't know. So that energy can make you mad. Many times it happens. People who are doing meditation, if they don't know how to use this energy, they don't go in the right direction and there's a कई बार आपने सुना होगा ना लोग पागल हो गए ध्यान करते करते ऐसा भी होता है. Many times it happens because they cannot they don't have that energy to use in a right way, right, proper. So what will give you the proper direction? Your swadhyaya. If you have a spiritual knowledge, that will give you the right direction. So in you just concentrated, you get the energy from the cosmos, it will happen, right? You just close your eyes, you try to have no thoughts, you got the energy. But without giving any thought to your energy may take you in a different direction. If you look in the below the centers below navel, it may create the different negative, it may give the negative effect in your life. So always necessary to have the base of swadhyaya when you are doing the dhyan. Swadhyaya doesn't mean only Jain scriptures we are talking. We are talking about the right thing, any thought which is spiritual, which is related to self. If you have such kind of thought, that is called vichaya dhyan. So any vichar cannot be called vichaya dhyan. Make clear, any vichar cannot be called vichaya dhyan. You are thinking about your business, only one thought is there, that is not vichaya dhyan. We are not, dhyan means you are talking about spiritual. That thing can become, because you are doing with concentration, that will help you. Definitely that will help you. It will increase your concentration. But that is a materialistic world. Through that you will not get spiritual. We are talking about self-realization. It will not take you to the self-realization. So that is good at your intellectual level, at your external world level. That is good. You should do in that way so you can increase your concentration. That is good. You can use your energy at one focus point, but not spiritual. These all are the states of meditation: concentration, perception, awareness. These all are the meditation. When you start with the concentration. Then perception, you start to perceive the things. Then you become aware about that without any feeling of liking and disliking. Then you come to the state of thoughtlessness. So meditation is about being rather than doing. Don't do anything. Being. Just sit and take a thing, perceive a thought. Only perception is there. Only awareness is there. No liking, no disliking, no attachment, no hatred. That is called awareness. And that these all are the states. Like it's a gradual development, and the last stage is thoughtlessness. So meditation is about being rather than doing. What is Preksha meditation? Yeah. It's the time is 12:30, 12:58. Please check it. I think 12:50. 12:50. I will try to complete by 12:50. Make sure. We have to go by time. Okay. Question time. For question time, I would say that we can do in that way. I think I have, because we have thought that I forgot to say that some cards are here. You can discard, because during this session or other sessions also, whatever questions you have, you just write down, because we have open discussion session. So we'll do it properly. Yeah.
There was a previous slide which I just wanted to ask you about. What is meditation? Moving from state of vibration to non-vibration. Did you cover that?
Oh, I missed it. What is meditation? Inner attention, moving from gross to subtle, moving from state of vibration to non-vibration, stable consciousness. Basically, all are having the same meaning, from gross to subtle. You are moving from gross to subtle. You cannot jump at subtle point. You have to start your journey.
1250.
You have to start your journey from gross, from your body. Start to know your body. Start to know the movement of your body. Start to read your body, analyze your body. Start to read your breath. Then you go to the subtle level. Then your psychic centers, psychic colors. The different aspects are there, components are there. So in this way, you reach to the subtle consciousness, and that consciousness, stable consciousness. Yeah. Oh, sorry. These are the stage. Now, Preksha meditation. In short, I would give the meaning, because many times you are going to get this meaning. Preksha, technique established by Acharya Sri Mahapragya Ji, who practiced this meditation. Like the name was given later on. He practiced meditation for 20 years. He made his body as a laboratory. He did all kinds of practices, or he practiced all kinds of techniques on his own body, and whatever he experienced, then he put in the different techniques. Yeah, while doing yellow color meditation, I felt this kind of situations. while doing red color meditation, I find my emotions are in this way. So whatever he experienced, then he conducted many camps. So many people who took part in those camps, they have also experienced something, the same thing, and it came in the, it took a form of technique. And earlier, before that, there was a prevalent technique in Buddhism, that is Vipassana. So Acharya Sri Mahaprabhu Ji thought that what name we can give to this technique, and they just look over the scriptures, they found the word Peha. Vipassana was also there, but Vipassana was prevalent in Buddhist tradition. So Acharya Ji thought that in Jain tradition we can put the another name. So then we got the same similar term that is called Peha, and in Sanskrit, that Peha is a Prakrit term, which is which we found in Acharam Sutra, and then he gave the name Preksha. So Preksha means only perception, just perceive without having. It's a the meaning you can see here. Pra plus Iksha, profoundly perceived. So perceive carefully and profoundly, without feeling of like and dislike, without feeling of attachment and hatred, no past memories, no future imagination. In short, stay in present moment, live in now. That is called Preksha. Just perception, whatever is happening. Just see whatever is happening, which is difficult. Because the feeling, if I say that there are 2 pens, here I say that I have 2 pens, which would you like to take? You will say that this one. If I ask why this one, you will say that I like this color. Our liking and disliking is involved in everything. So it says no liking, no disliking, just perception. 2 levels of consciousness, sensory perception and extrasensory perception. So we talk about sensory perception. Through senses we are perceiving many things. The extrasensory perception beyond senses. So that at that level we don't need even our senses. Avdi Gyani, Manaparya Gyani and Keval Gyani, they know through their soul. Purity of soul. They don't need senses, they don't need eyes to see, they don't need ears to hear something. So that's extrasensory perception. We are at the level of sensory perception. In sensory perception also, when we perceive, we can perceive without liking and disliking. So what Preksha is teaching, that only C is the balanced management of our sensory perception. What is balanced management? This without liking and disliking. That is balanced management. You perceive whatever is happening, then many problems can be solved. If you learn to see the things, this is called Gyata Drashta Bhav, whatever is happening, there is no problem at all. Problems are because of our liking and disliking. And Preksha says that if you learn how, whatever is happening, just know it. Whatever is happening. If there is a loss in business, know it. It happened. Now what can you do? Think about the future. But don't involve your feeling of disliking in that. And it will make you stressed. It will make you depressed. It happened. So just know it. Now what to do? Think about the future. So in that way, you can, in your practical life also, when you have this kind of quality, just to know, it's very difficult, I know that, but it can happen. Many people do that. So the only perception is the purest form of knowing. The power it gives us is the ability to know the ultimate truth without the help of the senses and the mind. So ultimately what we have, I told the ultimate is that you reach to the extrasensory perception. Then you don't need any senses. But you start your practice with senses. Again, gross to subtle. So you start with the gross.
I know time is little. इसके बारे में थोड़ा कि gross say as in using the body to practice meditation. That is what you mean.
Yes. Because the next lesson, because we have kept all the sessions in sequence. In next session, what you will get the 4 steps of Preksha meditation. In that you will get that why we don't start with the other practices. Why we start with the body only. Then we concentrate on breathing, then we go to the internal trips, spinal cord, and we feel the energy. This is gross to subtle. That will you, because I told you that you can just not, you cannot just think to get the state of thoughtlessness, or you cannot just catch your soul. You have to go from, you just calm down your body first, then calm down your breath, then try to perceive your chakras and centers, whatever you have in your body. Feel the vibrations, then you reach to the soul. Aphorism of the aim. Sampikhaye appaga mappaenam. See the self through the self. That is the important thing. How can we understand this? See the self through the self. And say that Atma ke dwara Atma ko dekhen. This is very important. I would like to just focus on this. Because it's better to skip this part because we all know that living being is soul and body. I would like to focus on Sampikhaye appaga mappaenam. See the self through the self. This is the important part. The rest part, whatever I left, it's okay. That was the journey only from gross to subtle. So as time permits, you didn't miss anything. The main point was that gross to subtle. The self to be seen or perceived, Yog Atma and Upayog Atma. We all have a distinguished characteristics. What is the distinguished characteristic of living being, which makes living being different from all other things in the world? That is Upayog. What is that Upayog? The meaning of Upayog is not to use. Here Upayog means cognition, knowledge. Right from birth, each and every living being get the quality of knowledge, Upayog. What we say, the cognition. So through our cognition, what we have to see? We have to perceive all our physical, mental and emotional activity. In meditation, what you do? We talk about that, to know, just know. How can we know? Through our cognition. Through our cognition, that is our consciousness. So through our consciousness, know your physical movement, whatever is happening in the body, know your mental states, whatever thoughts you are having, know your emotions, anger, pride, greed, deceit, whatever you have. So read your physical, mental and emotional levels through what? Upayog. So there are two Atma. One Atma is Upayog Atma, the Atma who is seeing and perceiving the thing. And Yoga, to whom we have to see? Atma ke dwara Atma ko dekhen. So to see the self through the self. So through the self, which self is there? Upayog self, Upayog Atma. And to the self, which self is there? Yoga Atma. So our physical, mental and emotional activity, that is also our Atma. Got the point? Clear or not?
Yes. You can repeat one more thing, please.
There are many types of Atma. On the basis of our levels of what we are doing at present. If we are in, like cognition is our main nature, right? So whatever cognition is always with us. Knowledge is always with us. Purity of knowledge is always with us. It may be different. Like Manjuji has a different level of cognition, you have the different level of cognition, but nobody is devoid of cognition. We all have the cognition. So through our cognition, to know the physical, mental and emotional activity. So through our cognition, just close your eyes and through our cognition, try to read your body. So try to know your body. In Kayotsav, what we are doing? We are taking our cognition to each and every part of our body and try to know that every muscle is getting relaxed in this way. So read your body, mind and emotions. Supporting components are there. Some supporting components are to enter in the Priksha meditation, because when we are talking about why to meditate, we need to get what to meditate, then we will come to the how to meditate. So in short, I am talking about that, not in detail. Yogasana, Mudra and Dhvani. Now I am just taking that three things rather than going on each and every slide. We need to learn about the comfortable seating posture, right? Without having control over body, we cannot enter in the field of meditation. You just can come in the Priksha meditation retreat without having any practice of anything. You can say that you just come, I want to do meditation. We cannot make you practice meditation if your body is not stable, it is not flexible, because you will not have concentration. If there is a stiffness in every part of your body, you will not have that concentration. So Yogasana is prerequisite to enter in the field of practice of meditation, Priksha meditation. Mudra, we need the hand postures. And Yogasana, they are talking about the different kind of Yogasanas. You can have Padmasana, Ardha Padmasana, Sukhasana and Vajrasana. In whichever posture you can sit. And nowadays we say that if you can sit on chair comfortably, sit on chair also. But at least do meditation. Okay, whatever is comfortable to you, right? You should feel comfortable. In between, even students also in FIU, when we used to teach students, we used to say them, if you want to spread your legs, you can spread your legs. You should feel comfortable. Your mind should go with our suggestions, then it is fine. So these are the postures. Jnana Mudra, this is when we touch the tip of the index finger to the tip of the thumb. Why we do that? In short, if I talk about. Many other benefits are there, but what benefit, how it affects in meditation pose? Because in meditation we need energy. And from our tip of the toes, energy is being released. So we don't want to, we don't want to spend our energy, we want to utilize our energy, just we make it circle in this way. So our energy is encircling inside our body. So we just touch the tip of the index finger and we don't keep the other fingers downwards. We keep the other fingers upward. So we are not losing our energy. So this is called Jnana Mudra. How to do? Touch the tip of the index finger to the tip of your thumb. And other is Vitarag Mudra. You might have seen in the temple, Bhagwan ka pose, right? So Vitarag Mudra, so left hand below, right hand above. This is also encircling the energy throughout the body and create the vibrations around the body. So this is the pose of Bhagwan. So it develops equanimity and sound. We create the sound, two types of sound: Arham sound and we create the sound of Mahapran Dhvani. So in Arham, in short, if you can keep in your mind, when we start to say Arham, we start with the throat. This is cerebrum, that is the cerebrum part we use, and ma is lips. When we say ma, that is on lips. So we feel the vibrations. Don't go in more detail, what are the place of articulation. We start a through throat, rah through cerebrum, and ma through lips. Mahapran Dhvani, I think you all know, and I will not explain the main thing is that create the vibrations, because when you create such kind of vibrations, make sure when you do Mahapran Dhvani, how you do. You have to keep your teeth unclenched. Keep the don't clench your teeth, unclench, and keep your tongue hanging inside, and then create the sound that will be the perfect sound through your throat and nose. I will take two, 3 more minutes. Okay. So in this way, you will create the vibrations. Create the vibrations. So these are the prerequisites when we start the meditation. These are the components. We are not going to all components in this retreat. We will just focus on 4 main steps of Preksha meditation. What will be the 4? We are going to discuss in the next session. And mental benefits, which I have already talked about: mental happiness, concentration, working efficiency, all these. In short, I would say that physical, mental, emotional health, and then spiritual health, that is self-realization. These are the main things which we inculcated, like Acharya Shri Mahapragya Ji inculcated in Preksha meditation, these aphorisms from Agams. So Sampit Khaye Appa Gam Appa Enam, that was the one aphorism, and these are the aphorism of wisdom when we conclude the meditation. So Appana Satchame Seja After doing meditation, we are having the feeling of equanimity to all living beings. So by reciting this aphorism, we are feeling that all living beings are equal. The consciousness which I have, the same consciousness all have. So I have friendliness towards all living beings. Last one. I thought to teach these aphorisms in the class, but we have practical sessions. In practical sessions, you learn how to recite, because many of you are new also, and some of the participants, they know that these are the aphorisms, but many are new, so don't worry about it. In practical sessions, we will have the recitation of these sutras time and again. So for emancipation from suffering, practice right knowledge and right conduct. We complete the meditation by taking refuge to the Arhan, Siddha, Sadhu, and Kevali Bhagwan's religion, the religion propounded by Kevali Bhagwan. And last thing, that Acharya Shri Tulsi first kept this prayer as a prayer to Guru. Then he thought, why prayer to Guru? Because when people will do, then they will only have my face in front of them, and I don't want that. Like above Guru, there is a truth. So that is for all. So we should pay to the truth, not to the particular Guru or Acharya. We should pay our truth to the Satya, that is truth. So that is the last, we are paying our homage to the truth. And how to do it? When we sit in the prayer pose, that is the first pose. Then second pose, we join the hands. Third pose, we say that Vande Satcham. Then we go down and this is Satcham. Then again come up and do this. So this is called obeisance to the truth. paying homage to the truth, not any particular person or particular acharya, but to the truth. So this is what I would say that this is the introductory talk of the Preksha meditation. Why should we do it? Our goal should be clear. Goal is what? Self-realization. Others are byproduct, whether it is stress management, emotional management, or anything else, time management. So this is what I think you know that. First I was dying to finish my school and start college, and then I was dying to finish college and start working. It is happening in our life. Doing all these things, we forgot to live. But I don't want like you people to do this way. We don't want such time where we have also to say that we forgot to live. Start to live by now. હમણાં પણ મોડું નથી થયું. અભી भी देरी नहीं हुई है. Start to live from today, from this moment itself. So you will enjoy your life. So what we say that enjoy the ice cream before it melts. તમે કહેશો કે okay, after melting also what the ingredients તો same જ છે ના? Same ingredients are there, right? But it's not like it doesn't give the same taste. So you don't spend your life in that like way. You utilize your life and enjoy your life like you're enjoying ice cream. So enjoy your life like ice cream. Before melt it, don't get it melted. Okay? So I hope that I had to do a little bit fast, but I could